So let's do this. What's up, team? Hello and welcome to Motosumo. My name is Ben and I'm your instructor of this class team. I'm coming to you live all the way from our studio here in London, and it's very exciting because this is one of our slightly longer classes. This is our 45-minute endurance game. It's an exciting one because I got some big bangers here for you and we're going to get into it. But remember, endurance game is all about those slightly longer rounds and doing something for slightly longer at that slightly less intensity. I'll be talking you through it as always during the warm-up and during everything, but just know that we've got some long climbs and we've got some long fast sections as well at that slightly less intensity. We're going to start off by getting our legs moving. Remember, knock off everything from your bike so there's nothing on your bike, and then you're just going to add a touch, and that's going to take you into your resistance one. So let's all find that resistance one, team. Once we've done that, we can get into it. We can get those legs moving, team, and we go for this in 3, in 2, in 1. Yeah! And we are in. So remember, we all start in that resistance one, and resistance is one of our two main metrics that I talk you through everything. So resistance is basically how heavy it is under those feet and how sort of tight it is to get those legs moving around. But right now we're in resistance 1, and then we've got 2, 3, and 4, which we're going to build up in this warm-up, with 4 being the very top of that bike. So I will be shouting out these resistances. Remember, at any time, especially during the warm-up, it's always worth playing around with it to sort of find it, and I'll be talking through how each resistance should feel. Your other main metric is your cadence. That's basically your speed, and that is your little meter on the bottom of your screen right now. They are color-coded, so it goes from the bottom, which is your gray, then as you get faster, it goes to blue, to green, to yellow, and then our fastest one is red. And that is measured in RPM, revolutions per minute, which is basically how fast your legs are moving. So I'll either shout out colors or specific numbers to you, just so you know where you should be at the whole time. Right now, we're just chilling out in that green zone in resistance 1. But we're going to take it up for a minute, team, for 60 seconds, taking it up into yellow zone, whatever that means to you, 90 to 110. You've got a big range there, and we're going to go for that in a 3, in 2, in 1. Let's do this. $90 to 110 is your aim right now. So that's where we bring it up. That's where we bring it up. Let's sort this hair out. Oh, there it is. So don't mind where you are right now. Remember, we're all just finding our right resistances. We're all just finding our legs. We're getting warm. The warm-up is so crucial because it gets your muscles warm, it gets blood pumping to them, it gets your joints nice and loose. But it's also the time to turn that brain on, to set your intentions, to turn your mind on, to get those emotions going, to get your spirits going. Because we want to be ready emotionally, mentally, physically, all of them. Holding that number. You got 2, 1, lovely stuff. We slow it down. Coming back to that green zone. So a little reminder, remember, anytime I say recover, we're never pulling it back completely. We're never pulling it back to 0 on that cadence. And so all you should ever do, unless I tell you otherwise, you just pull it back on that cadence. Just slow it down, really. We're going to go back into that, another minute on the clock to get those legs going again. See if you can add 1 or 2 points onto the RPM than you did last time, team. We go for this in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's go. That's it. So really trying to keep those elbows locked in. So now it's time we start to hone in on that technique. So I want you to keep those elbows in. I want you to keep those shoulders rolled back. Keep your chest pushed through. A gentle bend in those arms. This is so you can lean up against it. If anything, you should be able to sort of take your hands off. We're not going to because you want to steady yourself, because you want your whole torso nice and engaged. You want your core engaged as well. And then with that, you really push your back through. And then we get down to the legs. That is the important bit. That is your glutes, your hamstrings, your calves, and they are working overtime the whole time because we're on the bike. And the way we get that bike moving around is with those legs, because they are your pistons, and we are kicking out and pulling back, kicking your bum with your heel. That gets that hamstring involved. 2, 1, pulling it back to that green zone. Green zone 70 to 90. I give you quite broad regions right now, because we don't need to hit them specifically. Not yet. We're going to go for one more of those. Resistance 1 on the drop. 3, 2, 1, go! Yes, here we go. Only settle for the best. Live your life with no regrets. Come move your body. Yo, I'm giving you this long warm-up. Maybe add 1 or 2 right now. Add 1 or 2 to the RPM. Pushing it up there. When we get halfway through this, I want us to try and push it up into that red zone. That's 1 at 10 plus. Can you do it? Can you do it? We go. In 3, 2, 1, go! Come on, your body. Only settle for the best. Do you want to push it up into that red zone? Join me up here. Join me up here. Come on, let yourself be free. Be the best that you can be. Come on, your body. Come on, your body. Only settle for the best. Live your life with no regrets. Come on, your body. All the way, we got 3, 2, 1. Back to green zone. Now it's time that we finally leave that resistance 1. We're going to take it up into that resistance 2 for me. So make that big change to jump it up into the resistance 2. Remember, we've only got 4 resistances overall. We're just chilling out in green zone right now. You can stay at about 70 to 80. I'm going to go back in again. And this time I'm going to give you that range of about 85 to 105. So again, a lovely big range. Another minute on the clock's coming up. We go for this. In 3, 2, 1, here we go! Starting to get into it. Starting to feel that little bit sweaty. Let's go to about 90 to 105 now, so no need to go as high. 2. Razor spade. Big up, cool name that. Razor spade. It's a bit like some sort of evil villain. Tell you what, Inge, I don't know about where you are in Wales, if that's where you are. I'm assuming that's where you are. But it is a beautiful day in London. It is cold, but it's sunny. The sun's out. That just puts that smile on your face, doesn't it? That makes you feel good. You got 2. You got 1, pulling it back into that same thing, green. Now you can chill at that 70 to 80 as long as those legs are still moving, team. All right, I want us to add a few more numbers on. So we're going to go into a 30-second push this time, only 30 seconds. Now if you can stay between 100 and 110, resistance 2, 30 seconds only. We got the drop. 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah, yeah. 100 to 110. Remember, resistance 2, we are driving it. It's only 30 seconds, and it's probably the only 30-second sort of section you're going to get in this entire class. 2, 1, we are slowing it down back into that green zone. We keep those legs moving. We keep those legs moving in that green zone. I don't allow you to recover or rest in that blue zone. Not quite yet. Not until we hit those heavier ones. But we're going to do that right now. So find your resistance 3 for me. Resistance 3. Feeling that bad boy? Woo. Let's get this guy out of the way. I like him, but he doesn't need to be there. Resistance 3 now. We hit 80 to 95. 80 to 95 is your bracket for this one. And we go for that in 2, in 1. 60 seconds on the clock. Let's do it. Go, remember, you're in resistance 3 now. So you're in that heavier resistance. So even though we're doing those same motions, we're going to do that same thing. You've got to be able to keep those legs moving. You're gonna be able to stay with me, stay in your pace. I'm giving you these numbers, I'm giving you the zones where I want you to chill out in. And you can be in those high greens, I don't mind. You can be in the low yellows. Whichever one seems suitable for you is where you want to be. 2, 1, we put it back. Now you can go high blues or low greens. You can go from about 65 to 75. I don't mind somewhere in that range. Just as we slow it down, we're going to stand it up. We're going to stand it up anyway as we bring it up to that resistance 4 for me. And we're going to start with a nice little 2-minute climb now to get us into those long sections. And in this 2-minute climb, I'm going to talk to you about the different sort of intensities. We stand up. 3, 2, 1, up we go. And we are up, out of that saddle for the first time. And you keep those hips in. Hips in, keep those elbows in. You keep the hips pushed back. And we keep going with this one, with those shoulders rolled back, driving it forward, thinking about the form the entire time. Strong stuff. So, remember I talked about sort of intensity and everything before. The reason we do that, if you think of something like a Fast and Fun or a Stronger Together, you're working towards the top of that intensity, because in Stronger Together, it's just an all-out push. It's an all-out threshold ride. In a Fast and Fun, you push it in that high intensity and you get that intensity level super up there because you get those recoveries. This is very different. This is almost completely the opposite. It's because you don't really get many recoveries, but we work at a slightly lower intensity. And that is how that works. So right now, we are pushing it forward. We're keeping everything nice and close in as we drive it. How you feeling, Ingy? Talk to me. Feeling good? Feeling positive? That's where we want to be now. Remember, happy and healthier is our aim, is our motto at Motosumo. So that's what we are looking for, that's what we're aiming for, and that's how we drive it forward all the way. We're in the blue zone right now. We're all in that blue zone, 60 to 70, so high blue zone. And we get to sit it down. We get to sit it down in 10 seconds. We're going to take it into resistance 2. 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds, put it into green zone for me, because remember, we're all the way down in resistance 2. We're going to head out onto the track to start this off, and we're in that resistance 2, and because it's endurance game is about those slightly longer sections. So what better way of doing it than a 2-minute race? So I don't want you to give me absolutely everything, because we've got a long ride after this. We've still got over half an hour. We go out on that track and you hold that sort of pace for 2 minutes. 3, 2, 1, here we go. So this is your challenge. That's what you are aiming for, that's what you are striving for. To get them cups. I mean, this is 2 minutes. So you really get to lock into this. I'm going to keep going with some speed after this as well, just so you're aware of that. But what I love to see in a race, no matter what class you're doing, is a negative split. A negative split is all about speeding up, basically. It's a confusing way of starting a touch slower and finishing way faster. So you want to speed up as you go through. Oh, nice one, team. This race is setting your intention for your entire class. That's how I see this. That is how I see this. It is setting your intention. We're over a minute down. I'm going to give us a long break after this. I'm going to give us 45 seconds. Once we get to the end of this, to have that little chill out, to have that little breather, to have a shake off before we get into our main sections. But this is putting a little marker on the board. This is quantifying your first race. That basically means that we're getting a number now. You're able to see that number and see how far you go within this time. Stay with me. 20 seconds. Ten seconds. Final push, final push. Locking into it. You got 3, 2, 1. Slowing it down. I don't know where you are right now. As long as those legs keep moving. Yo, that was huge. Look at them numbers. Look at them numbers. Keep those legs moving. I'm gonna allow us to bring it down into resistance 1, because that is where we are starting. I want you to physically shake it all off now, because that was a big race. We're gonna come into some longer sections now. So roll those shoulders back a couple times. I want you to assume the speed position, because that is where we are going into. We're taking into a 5-minute section, all in resistance 1, before we go heavy and we climb. That's all I'm telling you for now. We go for this in 3, 2, 1, here we go. Just as that song stops. No, it was a long break. So you are in resistance 1. That speed position, remember what I said, is assumed. We are locked into it. Bang, them elbows are in, the shoulders, bang, a roll back. So let's do this. 8 seconds time after that first minute, we all add a touch of resistance on, just a little bit. And we go for that in 2, in 1. Eyes on your RPM right now. Don't let that drop. Don't let that drop. You may have thought after that first minute, yo, Ben, this one's easy. This round is a lot tougher because we are getting a bang on target of those numbers, because I don't want us to drop down on those numbers. It's all about staying with it. In 30 seconds time, I'm gonna allow us to take that little bit of added resistance off. We're gonna take it off. You're welcome. I'm a nice guy sometimes. But we maintain that speed. We maintain that speed. You still got another 12 seconds. Woo! Raise your spade again. Taking off in 2, 1. We go back to where we were. We go back to that original resistance 1, that au natural. Resistance 1 is where you want to be right now. And breathing is something super important with this one. Being able to stay in control of that breath as we drive it forward halfway in this entire 5-minute round, team. Remember, if you got those emojis, you let me know how you feel. We got them there for a reason. Ready to add it back on? Yeah, you are. We add on. In 3, 2, 1. It's added. It's just a little bit. If you notice it's a 5-minute round, this round is an odd number of minutes, which means when we get to the end of this minute and we enter that final minute, we add on a little bit again. And you know what? That RPM is not going to change. Not at all. Not if you're with me, not if you're riding with me right now. It's going to stay the same the entire time. "15 seconds, that moment is coming up. In 3, 2, 1, we add. This has been a big 5-minute section. We get to climb in a sec. We get to change it up. We get to really, really, really change it up. In 40 seconds time, we go straight into a climb. No break. Remember what I said? Hey, I apologize. This is how it is. It's that slightly lower intensity. If you're smashing out a high intensity, so your heart rate is at like 85% of your maximum, that's not what you should be. I'll keep reminding you. Keep that intensity, keep that heart rate at that right point. 10 second time, we are standing up. And you're entering the 50s. You can go into the 50s because it is that endurance game. Go for that. In 3, 2, 1, we are up. And we have slowed it down. Welcome to your 5-minute climb. And what a welcome it is, and what a beautiful sight it is up here, Motosumo. So we're in a 5-minute climb now. And what we're going to do with this one is we're going to play with cadence rather than resistance. You should be super heavy. In 18 seconds time, we're going to pick up that cadence. You're going to add 5 to your RPM right now. And I remind you, if it's not super heavy on your legs, you're not getting that proper muscle burn, you aren't in that right resistance. This is resistance 4. We head up, adding 5 to your RPM. In 2, in 1, let's go. Make that change. Make it now. Don't question what I'm doing. You just do it. But as I always say, I'm just your guide. I'm giving you the tools. It's up to you, right here, right now, on this bike, as it is with almost any decision you make, or almost anything, it is up to you to get what you want out of this. Out of these 45 minutes, it's up to you to get what you want. Remember, you've added that 5 on, so that's what you should be with that extra 5 added on. In 5 seconds time, we get to take it back off. Within that same format as we did in that resistance one, we take it off in 2, 1, slowing it down into sort of recovery. You should have sort of needed that recovery, even though we're playing that slightly lower intensity. I know. You should have needed that sort of break, that sort of slow down a little bit. Alrighty. We're over halfway in the entire class. A little reminder of everything of how the endurance game sort of works as a whole. Because it is that slightly lower intensity, that's why we can hold it for slightly longer. So what should happen as we get into the sort of last 15 minutes, which is your sort of final third, that's where it should start getting challenging. That's where it should start getting tough. Whilst we're talking about that, should we add another 5 to that RPM? I think we should. We go for that in 2, 1, let's speed it up. So adding on that little 5 now. And you know what we do, remember we sort of did it last time. We sort of did it last time. with that resistance one is we're gonna do that same addition again. So for your final minute of this, and I promise you, I'll give you a break after this section. I will. That's gonna be your break, and that's gonna be your only official break of this entire class, but you're gonna have to try and add on as much as you can, another 5 RPM into this final minute, because remember, I haven't given you specific numbers, I've just said 5 on from what you were hitting before. Ingi, you going strong? Let me know how you're doing. We add another 5 in 2, 1. Let's go, loving those numbers you're hitting. They're looking beautiful. Let's go. Riders, riding on the wall. I think that's the song. I'm up into those early 70s now, which I can tell you, oh, he's feeling it in that legs. I give you that break in a second. I'm giving you that break and gifting it to you in 30 seconds. It's gonna be a 30-second sit down. So don't you worry, I got your back. I got your back. Another 20 seconds, hold the number. Don't let it drop out. Hold the form, keep breathing. That break is coming up. It is coming up. In 10 seconds. Let's do this. Sitting down in 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds. Resistance. Resistance. Oh, let me send you some of these. Resistance 2. Resistance 2. Let's all have a little sip of water. Yo, because we're on resistance 2, it only makes sense for us to jump back on the track. Remember the number you hit last time? That is the number we're going to be trying to hit again. Another little shake off, back on the track. Another 2 minutes. We go in 3, in 2, in 1. Here we go, team. I'm blue team this time, representing the other team. Same thing again, same thing we practiced last time. Negative split. Even though you might not be able to see your RPM right now, you can feel if you're going faster or slower. So we can sort of work in quarters. So in 30 second, 4 quarters. Taking it up, just a touch of speed, in 2, in 1, go! We go again, adding that little bit of speed, in 2, in 1, bring it up there. And then that last 30 seconds, once again, I'm giving you another little break after this before we are on the home straight. And it's not a short home straight, it's quite a long home straight, but it's a home straight nonetheless. There's not going to be any breaks in it. No. Hold it. Sprint finish. Motosumo, stay with me. Three, and 2, and 1. Slowing it down, put it into that blue or green zone. We can slow it down. But that was huge. Nice. Slowing it down there. Yo, a little breather. I'm going to give you that 30 seconds now. I'm going to be dropping it down into resistance 1. We're going to go back to those extremes. And we're going to jump back and forth between them. And this is going to finish us off. So you should be just in that resistance 1 right now. Once again, you're welcome. We head into a 3 minute resistance 1. I'm then going to talk to you about the rest of it. But remember, we're aiming for those hundreds minimum. 3 minutes on the clock. Once the clock starts, I ain't stopping it. I ain't stopping it. We go till the end, team. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So what we are doing is a 3-minute speed endurance. 3 minutes sat down, resistance 1. Then we stand up, 3 minutes stood up, resistance 4. Oh. Then we sit down, 2 minutes. Resistance 1, sat down. 2 minutes, resistance 4, stood up. Then 1 minute, and 1 minute, and then we are done. Woo. How's that? For a little celebration. How's that for some cake? Starting with those longer rounds. Remember, we should be in those hundreds. No lower. You got 2, 1, that's a minute down. You got 2 minutes to go. Sweet resistance 1. And now the legs should start be feeling it, especially with that such drastic change between that resistance 1 and 4. They are polar opposites. They couldn't be more different. We are here, we are in. So let's do it.
Somos Adán y Eva. Yo estoy listo para tomar el castigo.
Stay strong that form. Remember, form, technique, position, all the same thing I'm referring to, but I want you to lock into it. Hip flexors feeling tight, glutes feeling tired, everything feeling strong.
Eres perfecta mujer, de la cabeza a los pies. Tú pasaste mi nivel, tú tienes el piquete. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami.
Ingy, what's up? Talk to me. Going in to the final sort of section, even though we're in that final section, let me know how you're doing. I want to know how I do Motosumo. If the legs are feeling strong, the lungs are feeling tired, the hair's gone all over the place. Standing up, standing up is coming up. Resistance 4, in a 4, in a 3, in a 2, in 1. Let's do it. When we can slow it down, I want us to be in those early 60s, at least for now.
Hot as the sun, the dance floor is burning. Call 911. Hands on my body, I'm loving the heat, but it won't come easy. Nothing's for free. If you want me, then prove it, baby. Ooh, I just wanna party all night long.
Big tune. I'm really into this sort of euphoric pop at the moment. It's got this sort of Ibiza feel, doesn't it? You can imagine it in like a Ushuaia or something, out on a nice little beach party. God, it's now nice thought. And even though London's nice and sunny today, I wouldn't mind it being in Ibiza right now. And the tune is left. Yes, Ingy. I'm hoping that's for the Ibiza chat. Another 90 seconds here. The sweat is real. I am feeling the fatigue, but also team, it is 10 minutes left. Let's go. Jump on that time if you need to. Jumping on that time. We've got the big ones done. We've only got about 40 seconds left of this climb before then we're sitting back down. And you've got a 2-minute resistance 1, a 2-minute resistance 4, and then we just got 1 and 1. And then we are done. Then we are stretching, but not a moment sooner. And you got to get to the end and you got to work it. Team, keep it strong. Sitting down in 2, 1. Resistance 1. Let those legs go. Let them go. That pace is building back up. We need to get white line fever. White line fever, I'm using a rugby term here. Inge, you might know it. It basically means when you get close to that try line, when you get close to scoring and finishing, you speed up and you get excited. It doesn't mean you hog the ball, but I think we should just get excited and work on that negative split that we were working with for those races as well. She got a P and C, baby girl, you know you was made for me. Hop in my bag and I stay in it. Hit from the back and I stay in it. She's not damn, don't play with him. She's not damn, don't play with her. I got a R-O-D, she got a P and C. We are getting close to the end. Even though the sweat is real, we are taking off. Inge all the way. Shoot my shot and I'm draining it. Steph Curry ain't playing this. I don't know what cost, but I'm paying it. Or options, I'm weighing it from going. Yo, look at that speed, Inge. That's what we like to see. Holding it up there. We're trying to push it up into red zone if you can. Yo, when we come into that final minute in that resistance 1, it is red zone all the way. We've got a 2-minute climb coming up. Once we stand up, we have 4 minutes left. That's it. 4 of them are going to be stood up. 1 of them's going to be sat down. We don't worry about that. We keep that positive outlook. 4 minutes left. Getting ready. Time is locked in. Resistance 4. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, bad little John, she pressure. Know that I got you forever. Love her, she got it together. Switching it up what she want, yeah. I seen it the day that I met her. Rocking it off like sweater. Shoes, go take a Veneta. Hey, know you got it, girl. Set the bar, then shot it, yeah. Slip it, slide it, yeah. Ain't tricking unless you got it, yeah. Can't break that bar, match the charms, and unless she wear. Final 2-minute section before. Beautiful little 1-minute sprints. We're taking out that intensity cap. Remember I sort of capped that intensity a little bit. I'm taking that out and we're still moving the song on. How more? It's going to be one of our final songs. And it's a big tune. Stay locked in. Oh, them glutes are on fire. I don't know about you. Inge, I've done some big rides this week and they're definitely feeling it, even though that recovery was crucial. I did a big ride yesterday and then went to the theatre after. So sitting down when my legs were all seizing up, I tell you that's something. That was a mistake. I enjoyed the show though. Big tune. We're ready to sit down for your final 2 sections. Your 2 1-minute pushes. 1 minute, sat down. in resistance. Uno. Ready to head down? 10 seconds. Your final speed section before a lovely little hill sprint to finish us off. We are down in 4, in 3, in 2, in 1. Chop it down. We got that speed up. Ingy, speed, speed, speed. I'm gonna bring this song back. I want to finish on this song. Eight seconds. We're up for that final minute. Ingy, we go in 3, 2, 1. Final minute. Yo, everything you got. If you got anything left in the tank right now, I am surprised, first and foremost. So let's go. All the way. Give me absolutely everything. Finishing this off. Ingy giving me everything. Should be in that green zone right now. This is more about effort than numbers. Everything. We're nearly done. Take it all the way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ingy, resistance. Resistance 0. Oh, gosh, bless me. Use this time to breathe. Let's bring your head up to one side. Up to the other. Roll those shoulders back a couple times. And take them forward. Legs are still moving, remember. Bring your arm across. All the time just reflecting on the class. Over to the other. Then standing up. You push your heels down, push your bum back. We're really getting into those calves, into those ankles. Then spinning around the other way, doing that same thing. Three, 2, 1. Take your arms up. Bring them down to your heart center and give yourself a big big round of applause because that was epic. 45 minutes of endurance game. We endured it and it was a game because it was an absolute joy to teach, as it always is. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember those little things, making sure you click pause and save so you can vary against your other workouts. And lastly, you know what I mean. Lastly, making sure you're finding us on socials, finding me, finding Motosumo, and joining us on our Facebook community group. Thank you so much to the team. Have an amazing day. You guys are absolute heroes.